Welcome back everyone to Ludus Infinium. Now, there's supposed to be a lore video today, but I've been having kind of a rough week, and I just haven't had the time or focus to do a lore video, and I do apologize for that, but I do have something a bit special for you nonetheless. This will be an unscripted video, it will be ranty, there will probably be long pauses, because I'm notorious for them, and I do apologize. But this is the story of how I got into Warhammer, my journey through it, and even the more fleshed out story behind Ludus Infinium. So let's get into it. About 16, 17 years ago, I was always into tabletops. I've always been into D&D. I've been into it since I was about 8. I've played Magic the Gathering since I was 4. I've played video games since I was 3, maybe 2. Anyway, to give you an idea, when I was about 5, I believe, the StarCraft 1 demo CD, God, I hope there are people old enough out there to remember what the fuck those were, came out, and I had it beaten at age 5. When I was 4 years old, I was beating adults at Magic the Gathering. When I was 8, I had beaten Final Fantasy VII. When I was, to backtrack a little bit actually, when I was about 4 or 5, I had beaten Killer Instinct, which was for the Super Nintendo. I know you may be asking, what's the point in all this? Well, I've always had a love for games, for tabletops. I don't know if this was my first role-playing character per se, but my first D&D character was a half drow, half black dragon, and I ended up using him as a framing device / NPC, and he is a fighter, either sorcerer or wizard. I'm really wanting to say wizard, cross class, and yeah, he got pretty cool. I like him, but that's completely beside the point. Sorry, and that was I believe the character I had when I was 8. But anyway, when I was 12, 13, I went over to my now best friend's house. He's like, hey, I got a new tabletop I want you to try. To give you an idea, me and this guy are still friends. We've been friends for going on like 18, 19 years now. Oh no, I'm sorry, 17, 18 years now. He showed me Only War. Our first campaign had about 10 player characters. We had a bunch of guardsmen, a medic, a commissar, a psyker, a sanctioned psyker, and an ogre. And I was the Ogrin because I didn't know better. I was like, I will be the tanky one. My girlfriend at the time, my now wife, was the medic. That was her first tabletop. So me and her were teamed up as a squad, and you get morale bonuses if you're in a squad, and you get morale penalties if your squad mate gets killed. So again, she was the medic. We're in the trenches, we're waiting for whatever's coming to come at us. She charges into the house, and it's 3 orc boys. So her being my squad mate, I follow her, and we literally both die in the first turn. I remember it's kind of funny, they went on for about another 3 hours, everyone ended up dying. And that was kind of the output we had on it. And it's kind of true, you know, the outlook of 40k is eventually everyone dies. It's just how gruesome and horrible. And, you know, when I was 13, it's like, okay, I can kind of see that. I believe the last one standing were a guardsman, a commissar, and the psyker. The psyker ended up summoning bloodthirsters, or not bloodthirsters, bloodletters. After that, I think it all went down. Not the fact that, you know, we were fighting orcs and they were just beating the shit out of us. No, when the bloodletters got summoned, that's when shit started going downhill. After that, I believe we attempted a Dark Heresy game, and then I tried to run 2 Death Watch games. It was just with both me and him going to college at the time, and eventually with me working and him still going to college at the time, it was really hard to line games up. Well, eventually I started running Black Crusade games, and I got really good at it. I got really good at running Black Crusade, even though it's the same system. Don't know why, it's just the one that stuck with me. So first game I run, as a point of reference for anyone, in the movie Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the city on Mars, how it kind of in a dome, realistically, and you can environmentally seal off sections of the city. That's the city that I had designed. So their goal was, and there were a few of them dotted all over this planet, and their goal is across the first campaign, they were going to take over all these cities. They did it in one go. The first city, they incited a classist civil war. They incited the poor to herd the rich into about a quarter of the city. The Heretic, because of critical successes, and me at the time not really knowing how to handle critical successes as well as I do now, had rerouted the sewer system, hooked up the foundries to the sewer, the main flow of the foundries into the sewer system, and reversed it and flooded that last quarter with factory runoff and sewage, and drowned all of the rich, and the poor worshipped them. So at that point I decided to take a break and see what I had done wrong, because that alone was supposed to take the better part of 8 hours to come to. And the whole campaign was supposed to be over the course of about a month and a half. After they did that in 2 hours, he's like, the Heretic was like, okay, so are there any weapons of mass destruction in an armory? I'm like, okay, fucking roll for me. That's not information you would readily have. Roll. Roll to 1. Does anyone know the story about the Siege of Rax? If not, I recommend Arch Warhammer's story. I recommend his telling of it. It is very long. But specifically as this relates to the first one about the planet of Krieg, they found nuclear warheads and threatened to launch them at the other cities. I rolled. For 5 other cities. I critically failed 2 of them and failed the other 3. They all surrendered. They surrendered to literally 3 people. Well, they surrendered to 3 people with nuclear weapons, to be fair. So, anyway. After that campaign, I did a lot of rethinking. I had been trying to run Black Crusade for a while, been trying to do it on my Discord, and ended up on Humble Bumble. They had Humble Bundle. I call it Humble Bumble. Anyway, on Humble Bundle, they had I believe it's the entire Deathwatch collection. And actually, I'm running it at the time of this recording, which is the 21st of July. I'm running it this Saturday, which is the 25th, and then again on the 8th of August, which will be 8 days after this video gets released. And I'm really enjoying it, and that's how I've been as far as the RPGs. Now, at least the pen and papers. Now, as far as the miniatures, I've never gotten into them. I have no interest in them outside of collection, but I have no money. So even if I did, there would only be very few that I'd collect, and it's mostly just because I like the characters, not necessarily that I like the miniatures. Now let's get into the lore aspect of it. I started getting into the lore around the same time that I got into Only War back when I was 13. Again, this is about 16 years ago? It's 12, 13, so about 16, 17 years ago. I started heavily getting into it around 6 years ago. And I started getting into the lore from one YouTuber, Tactica Imperialist. I'm glad. I have my disagreements with some of the stuff he's did as a person. And it's not even, like, as far as, like, I think he is good for the Warhammer community because he does give out dry knowledge. There's just thing that I was in a live stream that he's done. I'm not going to get into it on this video, that I just did not like. So I give him a wide berth now. Maybe eventually I'll change my mind and go back to watching him. I didn't like it. And that's just my personal thing. I didn't like it. I don't watch him. That's it. If it wouldn't have been for him, as I'll be honest, I got started with his Space Marine Legions lore series, and even though I don't watch it anymore, anyone who wants to take a deep dive into the lore, that is a good series to get started on. because of him, I actually ended up seeing another YouTuber, Arch Warhammer, now known as Arch. Anyway, so I ended up looking at some of Arch's content, got in the Horus Heresy series. Really loved the War for Armageddon series. And to give you an idea of how much I like the Siege of Rex, give me 1 second. I'm actually going to look up, see how many videos it is. It's 42. I've seen it all the way through, I think, 3 or 4 times. Could be more, could be... It isn't less. It's not less than 3. It could easily be around 5 times, but I'm pretty sure it's like 3 or 4. That's where I am on the lore. I end up researching it for myself. Now I have a channel, and, you know, I'll say this. I work my ass off to build my channel, but I can easily say, without the niceness or consideration of others, I wouldn't be as far as I am now. I mean, I would still be at, I don't know, 170, I'd go as far as say 175 maybe subs. I wouldn't be at, right now, at this very moment, 289. And this is, again, I'm recording this for the future. This will not air for another 11 days. So in 11 days, a lot could change. But as of right now, it's a 289. So, you know, without the consideration or thoughtfulness or just outright niceness of others, that never would have happened. I'd still be sitting here plugging at it, and still be at only like 170, 175. That's essentially where I am with the lore. Is I now do my own research and do my own lore videos. And so my type of lore videos that I'm going to do in the future, because I kind of got away from this, but I'm going to really go back to it. Last week's video from this one is the basics of Isstvan 5, and it's a 6-minute video. Now, I've told this to people in private, but the reason it's a 6-minute video is I literally went through all the lore, picked out key points, talked about the key points, and it only came out to 6 minutes. I did everything I could to make it between 10 and 12, but it's like, okay, I have all the major talking points. Okay, that's cool. And this is just on the Drop Site Massacre. It's not what happened beforehand, not what happened afterwards, just the Drop Site Massacre. And that's the kind of videos I think I want to stick with. It's just absolute bare bone basics. So for people like me, when I started getting into the lore, it's not overwhelming. Because when I first started getting into the lore, it was a little overwhelming. And this is still, I mean, like, this is 15, 16 years ago. It was overwhelming then. It's going to be worse now because there's a lot more that's come out. The funny part about it is, a little funny story before we get into the story of Ludus Infinium. As I said, me and my friend, we've been friends for 18 years now. And when I called him up the other day, we were joking about, he was talking about, like, the champions of the mortal champions of chaos. So you're looking at Typhus, Karn the Betrayer, Ezek Armin, and Lucius the Eternal. You know, that wouldn't really consider him mortal. But anyway, the human champions of chaos. And he was talking about Typhus. He's like, yeah, he's always fighting with the leader of the Death Guard. Oh, what is his name? I was like, Mortarion. Oh yeah, him. And I kind of had a laugh. He's like, well, what's so funny? I said, there was a time when we first started where I was literally asking if a bolt gun was like a regular gun, just bigger, and a flamer was just an oversized flamethrower. And we just kind of laughed at it, because now it's like, I'm the one with, he was the one with the information then, now it became me, and we just kind of had a little chuckle about it. The full fleshed out story about Ludus, because I did do a video about him early on, but it really wasn't fleshed out. Ludus is a Thousand Sun descendant. He's part of the group that there's actual speculation that the Blood Ravens are descended from. Magnus sent out the Thousand Sun fleet before the burning of Prospero. Part of the fleet that Magnus sent away and then eventually came back. Instead of picking a side between the Loyalists or the Traitor Legions, he decided to go off and do his own thing. and the speculation for my purposes, because GW can rewrite whatever the fuck they want, so I will do the same, is that he is a Psyker on level with Armin, maybe even to the lower end of Magnus. He is not as powerful as Magnus, but he's like right below him, maybe the equal of Armin. And so what he chooses to use his powers for is he will psychically send himself to other universes and create reports on said universes. Sometimes he stays in his own, but sometimes he goes to other ones. Like, for instance, currently right now you have the universe of the Mass Effect series, you have the universe of the Final Fantasy series, and you have the universe of the Metro Exodus series, which are all alternate. Well, Metro Exodus, Mass Effect, and our own are all alternate universes of each other. So he can send himself to alternate universes, and he just essentially goes there, lives out a story through the eyes of someone important to the story, and then creates what he believes of that universe. And after he has seen all he can on those universes, he writes a report on how that universe compares to 40k overall. He's a renegade. He's not a traitor, but he's not a loyalist. He doesn't fight for any side. He just sits in his own little librarium and does his research. And that's kind of all there is to him. I love the Warhammer community. And I love being able to be a part of it. I love the idea of my technical persona being, this badass psyker who just goes to other universes and just like writes a paper on them. At the end of the day, that's what it really is. But one of the things that scares me is that the Warhammer community is ripping itself apart. And I don't want that to happen, and I'm sick and tired of seeing it happen. And there's only two outcomes I can see at this point. And one is that Warhammer really truly be for everyone, or that the people that believe Warhammer is for everyone are just going to end up migrating to a different hobby. And I really don't want the second one to happen. But it's going to take a lot to get GW1 to eat enough humble pie to say, yes, Warhammer is for everyone, unconditionally. Or to... a lot of the problem really isn't GW itself. The problem is the people who've gotten in GW who really believe that certain people should be censored, myself included. It happened to me this past week, just because I was arguing with someone on Twitter. I got my account put on limited status for 12 hours, so it's happened to me. And honestly, and I'm going to do this in this video, that even after that fact, I was really kind of wrong, to the fact where I yelled at a couple of people that one was just trolling me, and the other one honestly was just trying to calm me the hell down, and I shouldn't have done it. Now, I'm not going to say their names in a video or on stream. I'm not without their permissions, but I shouldn't have done it. I really shouldn't have. I really lost my cool. This past week has been hell for me, not because of the censorship. There's also been some IRL stuff going on, and my nerves were already fried at that point. And then Twitter choosing to censor me kind of helped push it over the edge. And I know it's a small thing, it really is, but I should not have reacted the way I did, because in the end I ended up making an unintentional argument that someone should get punished for something they said, and that honestly, that wasn't the argument I intended. It was more of an argument of, the argument I intended was because they won't leave me the hell alone after I told them they should be punished. But it came out as, and it's my fault that it came out this way, because that's what I originally said. it came out as because of what they said, they should be punished. And I don't feel that way. And I will be one of the first people to admit when I screw up. And honestly, going back now, I mean, fuck it, the troll can say whatever he wants to say. I don't care. He is a troll. It's not that important to me. And he can say whatever he wants about me, as far as personal things he knows about me, my religion, my sexuality, my ethnicity, all of it. He can make jokes about it. I, at the end of the day, don't care. What happened was, and it's not an excuse, is I was already having a shit week and just exploded. And I shouldn't have done that. That is not a testament to my belief on people shouldn't be censored for what they say. That is a testament that I need to work on me and some of my internal issues. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Warhammer. I do. I mean, you can look at my Steam game list, and I have, I think, between Warhammer and 40k games, plus games with 40k mods, I think the total comes out to about 20. So it's about, I think, a little under half my Steam library is just Warhammer shit. But it's great. For it being grimdark, it engages me. It calms me down. It makes, I hate saying it this way because it does sound kind of cliched. It makes everything better. And that's why we can't let it be ripped apart. But the only thing I can do at this point is what I have been doing. That's just fighting for the cause that I believe is right. And even if you disagree with me, and I've had people disagree with me politely, and I've had people disagree with me very impolitely. And, you know, if we can agree to disagree and still have a pleasant conversation, I love that. If we can't, and, you know, you just want to end up being dicks, I mean, I don't like doing that. I will. If you want to be a dick to me, don't be surprised when I do the same thing back. But if, you know, you want to sit there and be like, okay, we agree to disagree, but we all love the community. I agree. We all love the community, and even if we can't agree as to what needs to change, we can all agree we love the community. In fact, there was one person that I learned some interesting, not history of GW, but actual real-world history from, because we were having a pleasant conversation after the fact. So, I firmly believe that there are good and bad people on both sides of the Warhammer 40k argument currently. My issue is I've had more negative experiences from the people who want to censor everyone who just disagrees with them. You know, Warhammer should be for everyone, but if you disagree with what we think should be included, we don't need you. The people that agree with the statement GW put out. And that's where I have serious issue, is that I don't feel that way at all. I don't think it should be. I think any hobby with people paying their money for it should be for the people that put their money into it. Or, for instance, like, you know, me. I mean, I put money into it. Sure, I put money into it through the books, through games, stuff like that. But if you're someone who doesn't necessarily have money and you just enjoy the lore and you go online and read the lore for free, you're a part of the community as far as I'm concerned. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you are. You are making yourself a part of the community. But with that rant over, and I do apologize for that rant, I needed to apologize. I needed to, I've had a good portion of time to do a little bit of self-reflection on what I did and what I need to do moving forward. And honestly, what I need to do moving forward is I'm going to keep up this fight to make sure Warhammer is for everyone unconditionally. I don't agree with I don't necessarily, well, I don't like it. I don't want to say I don't necessarily like it, but I absolutely don't like it when people make certain jokes about my religion. But they have every right to make them. I mean, I don't have to like them either. But at the same time, they can do it all they want. They can make jokes about my religion, my ethnicity, my sexuality. I don't care. That's not on me. They can do it all they want. The only thing I ask is from the people watching this video is don't do like I did and let people get under your skin. Try and keep a cool head, and if you need to, find someone in the community who you're really tight with, and once people start getting under your skin, go to that person. Just be like, hey man, I'm having a hard day. What, can I just vent for a few minutes? I have people like that, I just didn't utilize it. And again, that's on me. Because realistically, that's what the community is here for. Now, for those of you that don't know, I actually have COPD. That's why you hear me cough a lot. And there were people that I'm surprised didn't know, but there were people that didn't know who were asking, like, dude, are you okay? So people do care in the community. Now, granted, me and some of these people bust each other's balls a lot, but we care. At the end of the day, we care about each other. And that's what it needs to be. That's what it needs to go back to, is a community that cares about each other. And I believe that's what they belong. Not what they... what we as a community have lost. But with that being said, I do believe I'm going to end the video there, because I did get a lot ranty with that last part. So, if you want to support the channel, subscribe, leave a like, join the Discord. Please, by all means, join the Discord. In all seriousness, leave suggestions for videos or for bits of 40k lore that you would like to see me do a video on. In fact, one of the videos that now has its own series, which is Metro Exodus, was recommended on the Discord. So if you can and want to support the channel monetarily, there's always a Patreon and a Streamlabs in the description. But the most important thing of all, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if anyone ever needs someone to vent to, my Discord is always in the description. I believe my Twitter is too. Reach out to me. Reach out to me any way you can. If you just need to vent, like, hey man, I've had a bad day, this or that happened, reach out to me. This is the change we need. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!